joining us for the final episode of the E4S video series on student job hunting. Here at Employment for Students, we have years of experience helping more than 18 million school, college and university students find part-time work, holiday jobs, internships and year-out opportunities and graduate jobs. Throughout the series, we've sought to give you a thorough overview of the student job hunting process, as well as hints and tips on what you can do to succeed in your search. We've covered your ideal CV, interview tips and techniques, and what you can do to improve your employability. Since then, we've been inviting you to send us your queries and topics you'd like us to cover, and you guys have sent in some excellent questions. In today's final episode, Chris, Eccles and I will cover some of those topics, including alternative job seeking methods, overseas opportunities ideal for students, and what part-time work you should take if flexibility is a premium. So, let's begin.
The first things we're going to focus on are the design and layout. The most important thing is to make it easy to read. That includes the font type and size. I've seen a CV with a font that I simply could not decipher. Thankfully it was an electronic copy in Word, so I could edit the font to read it. But most employers are busy and won't take the time to do that, so your CV won't even be read. So use an easy to read font like Verdana and a size that is big enough to read but small enough to keep your CV short, like size 10. Break your CV up into clearly labelled standard sections which make it easy to scan in quickly. And don't be afraid to leave some white space as well, so it's easy on the eye. Your CV should be a concise summary of your achievements, so keep it between 1 and 2 pages. And use a file type which is easy to open, such as Microsoft Word, PDF, rich text or open document. If an employer can't open it, then they can't read it. We've created a free CV template which you are welcome to use and adapt as you wish.
Sarah from Manchester University asked us about alternative ways to find jobs beyond job sites and the career service. Obviously, we are keen to promote your university's career service, who are ably equipped to help you find all kinds of work, as well as aid you with anything else you might need, and our own website, www.e4s.co.uk. There are plenty of other ways you can find work too. Following on from getting involved with societies, unions and online projects as mentioned in a previous episode, networking is one of the best ways to find industry work. However, good networking can be tricky to master. Firstly, prepare what is referred to as the elevator pitch, succinct, relevant blurb that can be quickly shared with other professionals, named so to provide a rough outline of how long the pitch should last, the length of a trip in a lift. Target the right people to speak to, not necessarily the most senior person in a room, but someone who can set up meetings and opportunities. LinkedIn can help you identify the people you want to talk to. Volunteering for events, conventions and conferences can also be a great way of getting with the right people. On a similar note, when sending applications or chasing potential positions, consider sending your CV and details in person and get connected with the relevant party. You might not always be successful and navigating HR can be excruciatingly frustrating, but the initiative shown can result in a guaranteed or immediate interview. This can also be a great way of making your presence known to a company you would like to work for but are not currently advertising vacancies, again as previously advised in our first episode. Consider setting up informational interviews. For the uninitiated, informational interviews are meetings in which a job seeker is asking for careers and industry advice rather than direct employment, and as such it is the job seeker that asks the questions. These can be great ways to not only acquire information but also a surreptitious way of introducing yourself to a targeted company. If you can impress them enough during a meeting, it isn't unlikely that you might be considered for current or future vacancies. As such, standard interview etiquette is expected. For the more entrepreneurial students, consider setting up your own business. Many people offer freelance services whilst at university, especially in creative industries, and while it may not provide the same kind of financial aid as regular employment, you'll be building up a portfolio of activity and credibility. Implying for Students itself was started by Exeter students in response to the wake of student fees 13 years ago, and you can watch one of our founders, Chris Eccles, present the first and second episode of our video series.
We've had loads of questions about internships, ranging from what is available through to when you should look for them. So I'm going to give you a quick overview to cover as many of the questions as possible. Firstly, there's no official definition of an internship. Many corporates have developed structured programs that pay well, provide great training, and are a gateway to their graduate entry programs. Some other businesses advertise mundane, unpaid jobs as internships to make them sound a bit more jazzy, and because there's a misconception that interns do not need to be paid. Very quickly on the payment side, you should receive at least the national minimum wage for any job you do if there is any formal or implied contract of employment, regardless of what the job is called. The only exceptions are if you are volunteering for a charity or if you're doing work shadowing, where you are under no obligation to turn up or do any work. A good internship should provide training and an opportunity for future work with the company, regardless of whether that company is a multinational corporate or an SME. The corporate internships are generally excellent and are available with companies in a huge range of sectors, from finance to engineering, to government and media. They are also available within multiple business divisions, such as IT, sales, marketing and HR. Most are open to students studying any course, so there really are options for most people. They're often very competitive and have a set application window. Most open for applications around September time, and deadline dates vary from October to April, with many of them before Christmas. Corporate internships have traditionally been for penultimate year students, but have been expanded in recent years, so you can now choose from insight days in your first year to summer internships or a placement year at the end of your second year, as well as internships for graduates and also postgraduate students. Now it's time to apply, so head over to our internship section to see which companies, both large and small, are offering internships and when their application deadlines are.
Quite a lot of questions sent in asked us about finding part-time work in the creative industries: filmmaking, photography, journalism. Needless to say, not only is there very little available part-time work in these industries, but it is also very hard for students to find. Working in creative industries is almost solely won by having the right connections. Much of making the right connections is found by immersing yourself with like-minded people who have similar aspirations and, more importantly, are keen to act on them. Most students looking to get into filmmaking or music production do not have portfolios or any demonstrable work accessible to companies operating in these industries. Start by creating the kind of work you're hoping to make a career out of. University is an excellent time to begin, as you'll have access to your institution's equipment and suites, and hopefully a ready source of friends and housemates to abuse every time you need a boom mic op or pose for a fashion shoot. When you're in a steady routine of producing fresh content, get it online. We've mentioned before that blogging formats like Tumblr and YouTube are easy to use and well populated. Your expectation shouldn't be to suddenly reach the heights of stardom, but to have your work somewhere more accessible for people you'll network with to see on demand. On that note, it's through to arguably the most difficult part, again, networking. This can be an insurmountable obstacle when you have no idea where to start or who to approach. The truth remains that there is no set answer. However, there are a few courses of action to take. Several production companies have internship programs targeting students, including ITV and the BBC. Similarly, for wannabe journalists, nationwide publications including The Telegraph have available summer placements targeting students. These positions are rarely advertised beyond their own websites, and a tenacious, if not lucky browse is perhaps the only way you'll chance upon them. You can also approach various local publications and production companies, including Bristol's Roaring Gull Productions, where the level of competition may be a little lower and your involvement in each step of the production is likely to be greater. We can recommend an alternative route. Try taking part-time work with hospitality companies, including RE personnel and at your service. Companies like these look for hospitality staff for high-end events, including VIP parties, sporting events and film premieres. These are good opportunities to put yourself in front of people who might be looking for interns, volunteers or runners. As with everything already discussed, this isn't an easy path and, quite frankly, the chances of succeeding aren't high, but if you're serious about getting into creative industries, you already know that you need to take every edge available at hand.
Mahmood from Royal Holloway University wants to know what flexible work options there are which can fit in around his studies during term time. That's a great question, and the short answer is there are lots of great options for students. Companies who need flexible workers often like to employ students because it's a great fit for them. Take companies that work at events, for example. They may need staff for a week or 2 week long sports event like Wimbledon or the Open, then a music concert the following weekends, and potentially a VIP party one night. If you're available, then you do the work, and if not, you work at a future event. These are great jobs with a range of positions from hospitality to stewarding. Call centres are another good flexible option for students. They tend to be open for long hours during the week and also at weekends, so you can often choose shift patterns to fit in with your study timetable. Retail work is similar. Many retailers now are using sort of 0-hour contracts, which can actually be good for students because you can accept the shifts that work for you and turn down the rest without losing a job. You can do more work in your quiet periods and less in the run-up to exams, for example. Tutoring is something that pays really well and can easily be slotted in around your timetable. There's also a plethora of work from home options which don't require commuting time and put you in control of your hours. You can get paid to test websites in your spare time, or do transcriptions, or even online tutoring. We have a section on our site with lots of legitimate work from home options for students. Freelancing is another way of making sure your studies come first and paid work fits in around them. There are some great freelance websites out there where companies from around the world post projects that they will pay someone to complete. It's all work that can be done online, but there is a massive range from writing copy for websites, designing logos or company brochures, building mobile apps, translation work, legal work, and even architectural drawings. So whatever your skills, you should be able to find projects that you can complete. To get started, you just need to register with the freelance site, create a profile, and then bid on any projects you can complete. If you win the bid, then you do the work to an agreed timetable and get paid. So whether you can spend 2 hours per week or 20 hours, there are work options you can fit in to help you pay the bills without compromising your studies.
Simon and Julie from Oxford and Goldsmiths both asked about overseas opportunities students can take in the summer break. There are a lot of options available for students looking to travel and work between university. Firstly, there are a lot of opportunities for travelling in Europe. For those of you enjoying the nightlife, you could take a rapping job in Magaluf or Ibiza. Companies like AirPro, Club Med and Playaway are always looking for students who can work and play with equal fervour. For something a little more subdued, you can explore chalet catering jobs in the French Alps or hiking across the Dolomites in Italy. Companies such as Colette's offer a wide range of mountain working holidays for the adventurous student. If you spent any time considering overseas work, you've undoubtedly at least thought about working in US summer camps like AmeriCamp and Wildbanks. These are great opportunities to spend time in the States, and you'll receive help and support in sorting out the logistics, including visas and transport details. If you're thinking of something more long-term, why not consider an overseas internship? Overseas internships are a great way of developing working experience as well as immersing yourself in another culture and environment, very often proclaimed as the most effective way of learning another language. And this kind of experience can be invaluable in separating yourself from other candidates in future job applications. We have several overseas opportunities at the moment. If you're interested in areas such as games development or project management, work in Germany through Practicum for You or TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language jobs in India and China might be of interest to you. Bear in mind that many of these opportunities require initial fees for setup and logistics, so be sure to factor these in before making the jump. Well, that's it for today. We hope this series has helped you in your search for your ideal student job. You can catch the entire series on our YouTube channel, where you can find loads more hints and tips to help your job hunt. If you want to get in touch, you can do so below in the comments or via Twitter at E4S Co.UK, on our Facebook page, facebook.com/employment for students, or email them to us at studentsupport@e4s.co.uk. In the meanwhile, check out our website at www.e4s.co.uk for loads of additional job hunting tips and a great selection of student jobs. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.